Hey everybody. So yesterday I was talking about an interview, and I don't know how it went. It seemed like it went well, but it was unusual. Weird was probably has negative connotations with most people. For me, it doesn't, but for a lot of people, it does. What was off about it was that it was the HR person that I was interviewing with, and historically, I've seen uh, where you typically go recruiter, then uh, account manager, then hiring manager, and then one or two technical interviews, and then HR. But this time they moved the HR all the way to the front. I think it does sort of, it's probably indicative of like corporations being a little bit more concerned about HR issues than they are about technical issues. I think that's kind of where we're shifting to in this industry and maybe even in this country as a whole, where it's more like about finding the right shapes for the right, like, pegs, right shape pegs for the right shape holes. But anyways, it went pretty well. The guy seemed super nice. I really enjoyed it, talking to the individual. It was a fun interview. And he said that we are probably going to do a technical interview next week. Or they were going to be scheduling technical interviews next week. He was a bit cagey, wasn't gave me the strong impression that they would be calling, but wasn't sure. Anyways, so I had written some code and to get the animations, the animated cameras showing up in the animation form, and that worked, and that was big pimpin'. That was pretty awesome. So there we are. But it doesn't actually work. And yesterday I said because it wasn't there, which is pretty funny. But it's because in the services, in the animation section of the services, I haven't implemented that animation. It just goes through the list of meshes and the list of lights, but it doesn't go through the new list of cameras in order to determine where they should be. Um, so that's what's next. But I wanted to go over something first, and so let me expand this to 100%. So basically, basically two things I would like to cover. I may only be able to cover one. We'll just see how it goes. There's two things I would like to cover, and one is doing a partial commit. Uh, so basically, I have four files that I've updated. And the first file is animation properties component. And in this, I want everything. So this is easy, so I can just stage it. So the easiest way I find to stage something like this is through the tool. So you just boom. So now I have one staged item and three unstaged changes. So I get status, and what you'll see is you have three that. So if I were to do a commit right now, only this one would go. And so now let's go to animation interfaces and see. Okay, I only have one change there, and I want that. So I'm going to hit boom. So now I have two files staged. Okay, so let's go to animation properties component. Okay, I do not want this to go into the next commit. And the reason is because I want to demonstrate fixing some console log errors. So this one's easy. I just don't stage it. So it's not going to be in the next commit. Now here's where it gets tricky in the service. So let's start off with let me move this thing. And then, so let's go to the top, just click in here and look at the first set of changes. Okay, if animated camera. Okay, I want this section. So what I could do is I can just highlight this whole thing, and I can right click on it, and I can say stage selected ranges. So now what you see is I actually have three JS service sitting in the stage list and in the unstaged list. And so from here I can say get status, and you can see that there's the services are sitting up here and sitting down here because only part of it is staged. So if I click in this, I can see my one staged part, and if I click in this, I can see the three unstaged parts. There's only three changes. I believe there was four before. Okay, so now I want this part too, but I don't want this space. So I hit that, hit save, um, and then and you have to save it there. You could hit back and then stage, and things get weird. But I want this because all I'm saying is if it's animated, add it. If it's not, prune it. So I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to say stage selected ranges. Okay, so now it's no longer green. And now if we go to our 3 service, we see that there's 2 sections staged. And if we go here, we see that there's 2 sections unstaged. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to the next one. Let me just click in here, and it's very important that you do these like in order. So this, okay, I will definitely want this. I want to stage this because it would actually, well, anyways, yeah. So if I were not stage this, whoever pulled down the code, if I push this and uh, they pulled this down, it would be broken for them. So it would not compile. And that would cause all kinds of craziness. So we want to select this, right click, and say stage selected ranges. And so now that is no longer in this bucket. And now let's go to the last thing. And I do not want to stage this. And this is because I want to show the list of, I want to show the console logs. So now we have one file that we didn't stage at all, and one file that we only partially staged, and 2 files that we fully staged. Okay, so now I can commit this. Git status, git commit -m, and this is going to be video 93 adds cameras, animated cameras to the animation management list. And that's that. And so now we can hit this. Now before you do, so you notice it's no longer in there. If I say git status, okay. So before you push this, you're really going to want to. So our branch is 1 ahead, right? So you're going to want to stash this change. And git status. Okay, so we're good on that. And now you're going to want to go to your other, and you're going to want to kill this, and you're going to restart it and just make sure everything works. Because sometimes when you do partial pushes, you will inadvertently create a version that will not compile or will not run. And that's problematic because sometimes people are kind of rolling back through commits to try to find bugs and stuff, and it's really disrupting if you go to a version that is completely broken. So we hit reload. Everything seems to be fine. Now, I don't have time to go through fixing these issues, but okay, so at this point, I would want to push this, right? Because everything works. Let's just try adding a mesh. Just as everything seems to work. So git push. Okay, so now that is out at the remote, if anybody pulled it down. Now, so as soon as I created this, I see this in my console log. And it says writing to signals is not allowed in computed or in effect by default. Use allow writes or create effects option. Okay, I don't know what that's all about. Like that message I don't think is very helpful, but it might be, like maybe I just don't understand signals well enough. But this is, I'm going to go through like sort of debugging this. Like I said, I am out of time, and I think it's worth a whole new message, a whole new thing, because once I fix this, it also then creates another bug, another console error. And these console errors, you really want to fix them as they appear. They become so much harder to fix with time. So this is definitely what you'd call tech debt that it has interest. So, anyways, happy coding, guys. Bye.